Josh, as you know, I use braid for about 95% of my fishing, and over the last couple of years, I've settled pretty much on using Kairiki for my finesse fishing and PowerPro when I need something with a lot of abrasion resistance. If I'm targeting brim in the leases, barra in the snags, mangrove jacks around the mangrove roots, those kind of things, I go to the PowerPro. I really trust PowerPro, and I know that it's a tough, hard-wearing line, but this year we've got PowerPro Tenacity. What's different about it?
Okay, so I, like you, also the Kairiki 8 Plus that we brought out last year, one of my favorite lines, and the way that I describe it is it's a very generalist line. It can do all jobs very well, but if you're looking for something that has a real sort of a little bit more of a specific use, as you said, that the abrasion resistance of PowerPro is the big one. But what we've changed about Tenacity is actually an 8-strand braid. So original PowerPro was actually either a 3, 4, or 5-strand weave, whereas Tenacity is actually an 8-strand weave. So a rounder profile to it, but it's using a fiber called Tenax, which is where the name Tenacity comes from. And that provides the abrasion resistance. But the other thing that we did really notice was PowerPro didn't really fit with the way that Australian consumers wanted lines. So they wanted an 8-strand. We've got an 8-strand. But they wanted the stated breaking strain to be closer to the actual breaking strain. So original PowerPro 20-pound had a much higher breaking strain, whereas from 6 to 80-pound, which is what you find Tenacity in, they are much closer to the actual breaking strains of the line. So 6 will probably break at about 7, 8 at about 9, 10 at 11, and so on. So they're much closer.
Yeah.
And what that means is the diameter is much more in line. So people tend to be buying lines based on their diameter or their gauge or gow or however you'd like to talk about it, PEs. So we just brought that much more in line, but we wanted to keep that quintessential PowerPro abrasion resistance, and that really is the big thing to talk about with this line. So whilst we both love our, generalist lines or finesse lines, if you're fishing around structure where it could get a bit squirrely, Tenacity is really the go. And we have tested this. So we've hung jigs, we've hung a little piece of emery on the side of a table, hung it over the side and done that test where you're testing it. We've actually done it 22-pound grappler braid against 15-pound PowerPro, and the abrasion was about double. The amount of strokes that you would have to do for it to cut through, it would be...
So the PowerPro was a lot more abrasion resistant?
Much more abrasion resistant. So it's just a formulation that we've made in that 8-strand for sort of modern consumers. But the other thing we looked at was colour. Blue is obviously harkening back to some of the old braids that we've done at Shimano, but the big one for me really was orange. Like, I do a lot of visual fishing, so whether it's fishing in the racks for brim or it's throwing lures for jewfish, I need to track that line, how it's drifting back to me. If I need to see that braid, that the best color by far I think is orange. Another example would be glow bugging for trout on the Yukon bean. And if I need to follow that line down, I find that greens and yellows can get lost in that grass behind, whereas orange stands out.
There's a reason why blackfish fishermen have orange tips on their floats.
There's a reason why hunters wear hunter orange. It's the color that stands out the most to the human eye. So it's obviously the most visible color we could do. And I always figure if I need to see it, I want to see it. And orange is the color for that. So
yeah, whether you're looking for that little tick in the line when that 45 centimetre black brim sucks your squidgy up off the bottom, and all it does is do that, and you've got to be able to see it and react to it to catch that fish. And then you need that
line to hang on after you've done it. And if you get a rub around that pole or any kind of abrasion, Tenacity is really going to be the go.
So anyone who's already a PowerPro fan, and I know there's plenty of them out there, they're really going to love the Tenacity.